Hello students and parents. Well, I'm stood here in our main reception area and hoping just to make you a little bit more familiar with how the school is looking. It certainly doesn't look how it did when we left the school in March and we went into distance learning, but it is going to be an exciting time over the next 4 weeks as we welcome our primary age students back into school. I will be writing to you later on today and you'll be receiving our reopening guidelines and policies in terms of how the school will operate. And we're going to operate in the way that you chose. It was your feedback and your voice that decided how the school was going to be put together in terms of our houses. But what I did want you to see are just some of the markings that are around, some of the queue management systems. Just over the other side of reception, there's one of our thermal cameras which will check every single student and member of staff as they come into school first thing. And we actually have 4 different entrances. Where I'm stood now in our main entrance will just be for our Year 3 and our Year 4 students. So they will come in first thing in the morning, and I must make it absolutely clear that only our youngest students are allowed to be accompanied by one adult, and that is FS2, Year 1, and possibly Year 2, and the adult must have a negative PCR test that is valid within the last 72 hours. So you can see our main reception here, looking as stunning as it always does. There'll be slightly different areas. If you are slightly warm when you come in and the camera picks up that your temperature's a little bit high, there's a cooling area where you can cool down and then become and checked again. And then once you're checked and you get the thumbs up from our security, you'll be straight into main reception, and our Year 3 and 4 students must always keep, every single member of staff must keep 2 meters apart as they move through the school. And there are spots and arrows everywhere to help you with that. So please, I'm looking forward to seeing you on Monday. We have our new starters in on Sunday. The rest of the school, half of the school, the Hawks and the Falcons, and for those of you that have forgotten those names, the Red House and the Blue House, will be in on Monday, followed by our Eagles and Kestrels, the Yellow and Green House, on Tuesday. But I'm going to head over to the FS2 and Year 1 entrance now, just to show you what that looks like as well. You can see me sat here now by the laptop where our thermal imaging camera will check everybody's temperature as they come into school to make sure that we're super safe. We have passed our Department of Health audit and we scored 100%, the highest score that's possible. So our practice in terms of clinically and medically is the best that it can be. And in terms of our loading of the building in the morning and everybody coming on site for the 2 houses that will be on site at a time, this is an area, we've got 4 of these areas, that you will enter the building through. So this one is specifically for FS2 and classes Year 1A to 1G, which is just by our security hut as you come into the school. So it's the first entrance before the main entrance. And our children, once they've passed their temperature check, they will be able to make their way through the corridors and down towards the classrooms. And I will remind you, only our youngest children will be allowed to be escorted by a parent on site, and that is only one parent. And the parent must have a negative PCR test valid within the last 72 hours. We are trying to reduce the number of personnel and people on site and footfall into the building. So the independence for the children is really important. The staff will be there to support them, and we'll make sure that your children are not only safe, but they have a really happy start to a very exciting new academic year. Here we are on the other side of the thermal imaging camera. So as you can see, there is a queue management system for our FS2 classes and our Year 1A to 1G classes. So we would walk in, staying 2 meters apart, not moving until the person in front of you has gone through. I get to the line, I stand and wait to be checked, and our support staff give me the thumbs up, and I can make my way through. If I was slightly hot and my temperature was 37.5 or above, there is the opportunity in the holding area to go and cool down. Obviously it's quite hot outside and we don't want to give false readings, But as soon as I've been given my thumbs up, I can make my way into the school. And welcome to the forest entrance. Here you'll be able to see that we have one of our support staff who's operating the thermal imaging cameras. And this is where our children who are in classes 1H to M and Year 2 will make their way through onto the ground floor classrooms. And our children who are in Years 5 and 6, who are arriving with private vehicles, will make their way up the stairs into their macro bubble area on the Year 6 and the Year 5 corridor. Now, you'll notice as I come in, we have an automatic hand sanitizer, which will make sure that I am absolutely hygienic. I will make my way through the queue management system. And as you can see, a very clear line that says, stop, please wait for your temperature to be checked. The thumbs up, and I am good to go for my learning for the day. If I am in Year 1 and Year 2, 1H to M, I go through the doors here. If I am in Years 5 and 6, I would make my way over here, past the camera, and up the staircase to the Year 6 and 5 corridors. We're now at the rear of the GEMS Cambridge International School Abu Dhabi, and I am standing here as if I've just got off the bus, having travelled to school, and I'm making my way, as I normally would, but I'm going to head towards the boys' canteen and the boys' dining area. Now, this is where all of our bus children who travel to school on the school transport will come and have their temperature checked first thing in the morning. There'll be lots of staff supervising, and they will all move within social distancing, 2 metres apart as they head into the boys' dining area to have and go through the checks to make sure that everybody on site is safe, healthy and hygienic. Hello, well I'm now in the boys' dining area. So having made my way actually into the building, this is where our bus children will have their temperature checked. You can see our fourth and final camera with the thermal imaging technology. And again, our support staff are there to check every single adult and child, student, learner that comes onto site. So the children will make their way forward. You can see over to the far side, we again have holding areas as we have in all of the other entrances. So if the temperature is slightly warm, the children have the opportunity to cool down and then they can be rechecked. As I make my way round, as in all of the entrances, everything is the same. Wonderful. Okay, I've passed the temperature check. I can now make my way into school. Now, if I'm a child who is in FS2 or classes 1A to 1G or years 3 and 4, this is where I split off compared to the other children. So if I'm in those classes, I would follow the yellow lines and then turn right and make my way down to those macro bubble areas. So that's FS2, classes 1A to 1G. And also years 3 and 4. If I'm in years 5 and 6, or classes 1H to M and year 2, I would continue forward and go over to the left. Now, as I'm slightly tall, I'm going to pretend that I'm in year 6 at the top end of Key Stage 2, and you'll be able to see I've had my thumbs up. I concentrate on going round to the left, and I make my way out towards the corridor where I will be supervised by teachers to make my way up to the macro bubble area on the year 6 and year 5 corridors.